The room was alive with energy, buzzing with the sounds of cameras clicking, reporters whispering, and fans eagerly capturing every fleeting moment. The 2025 Weibo TV and Internet Video Summit was at its peak, a grand celebration of talent, fame, and public attention. But backstage, where the glamour faded into soft lighting and quiet corridors, a moment unfolded that no one could have anticipated. Shen Yue had just finished her last rehearsal, adjusting her gown with careful precision. The dress was elegant, understated, designed to draw attention without overwhelming her natural presence. She moved with grace, but inside, a storm brewed. The last few months had been challenging, filled with endless interviews, overlapping projects, and the relentless pressure of being in the public eye. Tonight, she wanted nothing more than to focus on her work, maintain her professionalism, and leave without incident. But Dylan Wang had other plans. He had been observing her from across the room, standing near the entrance where staff and assistants constantly flowed in and out. His expression was calm, almost detached, yet his eyes betrayed him. They flickered with a focus reserved only for her, scanning her movements, noting the way her fingers brushed the fabric of her gown, the slight furrow in her brow, the controlled exhale she didn't realize she released. Shen Yue didn't notice him at first. She was too preoccupied with her schedule, too consumed by her own thoughts. But the moment he stepped forward, a subtle shift occurred in the air. There was a quiet gravity in his presence, one that drew her gaze without permission. He approached with measured steps, a small, discreet bag in hand. It was ordinary in appearance, nothing extravagant, yet the way he held it conveyed significance. Not a prop, not a gift for anyone, just for her. The staff around them barely registered. Assistants were busy arranging clipboards, photographers were checking lenses, and coordinators whispered schedules. Yet in that corridor, the world seemed to condense into a single point. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, standing mere feet apart, and the mysterious bag between them. Shen Yue paused mid-step, instinctively wary. She had learned to navigate moments like this with caution. Being in the spotlight came with unspoken rules. Public gestures could be misinterpreted. Private exchanges could spiral into rumors. And yet, there was something about Dylan's stance, the quiet insistence in his gaze, that demanded attention. He extended the bag toward her, fingers brushing the strap just slightly, careful not to overstep, yet firm in intention. "It's for you," he said softly, the words deliberate, measured. Shen Yue's eyebrows lifted. She took a cautious step back. "Only for me?" Her voice was calm, but carried an undercurrent of surprise. Dylan nodded. "Only for you. No one else. I wanted you to have it before the evening started." Her mind raced. Questions formed instantly. Why now? Why here? What could possibly be inside that would warrant such secrecy, such singular focus? She had learned, over time, that gestures like this often carried meaning beyond the object itself. Gifts were never just gifts in their world. They were statements, signals, sometimes confessions disguised as tokens. Shen Yue reached for the bag, her fingers hovering over it, but not yet touching. She studied his face, searching for any hint of intention, any clue about what lay inside. Dylan's expression remained unreadable, controlled, yet there was an unmistakable flicker of something personal in his eyes, a vulnerability, perhaps, that he never revealed publicly. Finally, she took it, light in her hand, seemingly ordinary, yet charged with a gravity that made her pulse quicken. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible amidst the backstage noise. Dylan didn't respond immediately. He simply watched her, ensuring she had accepted it, ensuring that she understood the significance of the gesture without needing words. His presence was calm, unwavering, yet every subtle movement betrayed a depth of feeling he had long kept contained. She hesitated before opening it. Part of her wanted to savor the moment, to let the suspense linger, to decode the unspoken language between them before knowing the physical content. But curiosity, irrepressible and urgent, took hold. She unzipped the bag slowly, deliberately, revealing a collection of items that were both intimate and thoughtful. A carefully handwritten note rested on top. The handwriting was neat, precise, almost meticulous, yet undeniably personal. She picked it up and read silently, each word resonating with weight. For the moments we've shared, the ones we can't say aloud, and the ones that will guide us forward. Her chest tightened. The words were simple, yet layered with meaning she could feel but not immediately articulate. They weren't declarations of love or public confessions. They were acknowledgments of shared history, of mutual understanding, of unspoken connection. Below the note, there were smaller items. A charm she had once mentioned in passing, a token from a film they had collaborated on months earlier, something only someone paying careful attention would remember. Each piece was deliberate, selected with intention, chosen to remind her of moments they had shared, moments that were theirs alone, outside the glare of the public eye. Her breath caught. The gesture was personal, private, and yet public in its potential visibility. She realized that he had taken a calculated risk, showing care and attention in a space teeming with observers, yet crafting the moment so only she could truly understand. She looked up at him, her fingers still on the items. His expression had softened, just slightly, enough for her to recognize the depth of thought behind his actions. "Dylan," she began, hesitant, uncertain, overwhelmed by the weight of everything condensed into a small bag. Why me?" He exhaled a slow, controlled breath. "Because you deserve to know that someone notices. Someone remembers. Someone cares about the small things that no one else sees." The simplicity of his answer struck her. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't performative. It wasn't intended for public consumption. It was raw, deliberate, private, a language they understood without needing an audience. Shen Yue's eyes filled just slightly. Not tears, but the emotion beneath them. A combination of gratitude, nostalgia, and unspoken longing was undeniable. She had tried to maintain composure for months, to navigate a world filled with speculation and expectation. Yet here, in the quiet moment of personal attention, her defenses faltered. Dylan Wang watched her reaction carefully, aware of the subtle shift in her demeanor. He didn't speak immediately, didn't push. He let the silence linger, giving her space to process, to acknowledge, to confront the feelings she had long tried to suppress. Finally, she spoke, her voice quiet but steady. I don't know what